Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel IGCSE Biology Help. In today's video, I'm going to be solving the May-June 2021 Paper 2, Variant 1. So let's start solving. Now question number 1, what is a characteristic of all living organisms? So we know that in these type of questions, you should be choosing something from the 7 characteristics of living organism, also known as the Mrs. Gran. So over here, we're going to be choosing sensitivity because this is part of the 7 characteristics of living organism that we know from chapter 1. Now, question number 2, the table shows a section of DNA taken from 4 different organisms. Which 2 organisms are the most distantly related? So over here, we should be getting the most distantly related and not most closely related. So please make sure to read very carefully in the exam. Now over here, right off the bat, I can see that W and X are having some base sequence differences. And now, also when the base sequence has a large number of differences, like over here in W and X, that means they are more and more distantly related. They're not closely related. If they are closely related, they will have a similar base sequence or identical base sequence actually. So that is how to solve the question. You're going to be finding the organism that has a large number of differences in their base sequence, and then these are going to be the most distantly related. Now over here in W and X we have one difference, and this is another difference. Also over here there's another difference, so that's the third one, and then there's this one, the fourth one, and then the fifth one over here. So there's many differences. That means they are very much distantly related. So our answer for this question will be A, W, and X. Now number 3, scientists discover a new species of animal. It has segmented body with 2 pairs of legs on each segment. So if they have 2 pairs of legs on each segment, that means they are a myriapod, which has a very large number of legs. They have the most legs in the arthropods, or the animals without a backbone. So we're going to be choosing the myriapods. Now number 4, the diagram shows a single-celled organism. Which labeled structure will also be found in an animal cell? So we know that animal cells don't have chloroplast or cell walls, so we're going to be choosing an option without chloroplast and cell wall, or a permanent vacuole. So our answer will be for this question C. Over here, all the options have some characteristics of the plant cell which are not present in the animal cell. So chloroplast in option A and B, and there is also large permanent vacuole. In the animal cells, we don't have large permanent vacuoles. Now question number 5, the diagram shows some of the blood vessels and other structures in the human body. The blood vessels shown are all parts of the same. So over here we can see that the circulatory system is shown because it shows the blood vessels from the heart, the vein and artery are shown over here. So this is all part of the same organ system. Now number 6, a photograph shows a plant cell nucleus measuring 2 millimeters across. If the magnification of the cell is 500, what is the actual size of the nucleus? Now for this question, I've always said in my videos that you should do the I am triangle, which can help you identify the type of calculations you should be making in order to get the actual size, the magnification, or whatever they're asking. Now over here, we're not going to be using the M as I usually do. We're going to be using the A this time around. So we're going to be measuring the actual size. That is by dividing the image over the magnification. So over here, they're saying that the image shows 2 millimeters. So we're going to be measuring 2 over 500. So if we're going to measure that, it's going to give us B, which is 0.004. So that is going to be our answer. Now question number 7, By which process do oxygen and carbon dioxide move between cells and capillaries? Now we know that any gas is moved by a process called diffusion, so that's going to be our answer over here. 8. Which process is involved in the uptake of glucose by the epithelial cells of the kidney tubules? Now we know that the uptake of glucose is done by a process called the active transport, so that's going to be our answer. Now this example is actually written in the syllabus. If you're going to check the Cambridge syllabus of the Biology 0610, it's written that this is an example of active transport in chapter 3. So number 9, which element is found in proteins but not carbohydrates? Now we know that proteins actually have something extra in their elements, which is nitrogen, so that is going to be our answer. Now we know that carbohydrates as well and fats have like the same elements, so that's also a thing to point out. Now number 10, the diagram shows a short section of the single strand of a DNA. Which strand of DNA will combine with the strand to form part of the double helix? Now basically they need the corresponding bases over here. Now we know that base A actually binds with base T and C binds with G. So we're going to be choosing something that has a T to bind with the A over here and a G and a C and also a T. Now that's going to be a J over here. So we need something with T, G, G, and A. So that's going to be D. Now 11, starch is digested by amylase in the mouth, but it's not digested in the stomach. What is the reason for this? Now for this question, you should look at all the options and see which one is the most correct. Now let's read the options. All starch digestion is completed in the mouth. Now this is incorrect because there is also amylase that is secreted by the pancreas, which is also helping in the starch digestion, so that is not correct. Now B, the pH in the stomach is not suitable for amylase to work. Now this is a correct fact because in the stomach the pH is usually acidic and amylase needs pH 7, which is not going to be the optimum and may denature the enzyme. So that is actually correct. We're going to be choosing that. Now number 12, which statement describes a catalyst? Now we know that catalyst is something that increases the rate of a chemical reaction and it's not used up like the enzymes that we know. Now let's see over here. A substance that decreases, well, this is incorrect, so we're not going to be choosing anything from A or B because catalyst doesn't actually decrease the rate of chemical reactions. Now C says a substance that increases the rate of a chemical reaction and is changed by the reactions. Now we know that enzymes and catalysts and the chemicals that actually increase the rate of chemical reactions are not used up or changed by the reactions. They are basically just catalyzing, and they are not actually being changed or used up. So a very little amount of enzymes can actually break down a large or catalyze a large amount of chemical reactions. So over here, let's read. Now we know that C is incorrect because, as I said, it is not changed by the reaction. So that leaves us with D, a substance that increases the rate of a chemical reaction and is not changed by the reaction. Now that is completely correct. So D is going to be our answer in 12. 13. A plant with striped leaves was kept in bright light for 6 hours. A leaf was taken from the plant and the chlorophyll was removed. The leaf was then tested for starch using iodine solution. Now, as you all know, I have explained the iodine solution in my paper 6 designing an experiment video. If you want to know more about it, please check out that video. Now, which diagram shows the result of the test? Now, we know that any white over here will turn to orange brown. That's because iodine is actually orange brown in color alone, so any white will actually leave it with the color of the iodine. Now any green will react and will cause a blue-black color. So any part that is colored white should be orange-brown, and any part that is colored green should be blue-black. So let's check the answers over here, the options. Now they're saying that this one is yellow-brown, and the white part is going to be yellow-brown, and the part in the middle is going to be blue-black. Now, this is correct because, as I said, any white over here, it's showing that the outer part is actually white over here, and this middle part is green. So that is actually correct because over here it's the same. The green part is blue-black, and the outer part is yellow-brown or orange-brown. So we're going to be choosing A for this question because this is exactly what I have explained now. Now, question number 14. The graph shows daily carbon dioxide uptake and transpiration by the plant. The plant is adapted to live in very dry conditions. What can be concluded from this graph? Now, over here, we can see that transpiration is very decreased during the light hours or the daytime from 8 a.m. until about maybe 6 p.m. It is very low, and then it decreases. It increases during the dark hours. So when the transpiration is decreased, that is because the stomata is closed and the carbon dioxide or water vapor cannot diffuse out of the leaf. So let's check the options over here. More stomata are closed during the dark periods. Now this is incorrect because in the dark periods, the transpiration and the carbon dioxide uptake as well was very much increased. And the stomata is open because the carbon dioxide uptake was increased over here. We know that the carbon dioxide diffuses through the stomata and the gas exchange is from the stomata. So when it is opened, there is an increase in that gas exchange. So that is incorrect. Now B, more stomata are closed during the light periods. Now this is correct because both the carbon dioxide uptake and transpiration were very much decreased during the light periods from 8 a.m. until about 6 p.m. So this is correct actually. So B is going to be our answer for this question. Now 15, statements 1 to 4 describe stages in the development of chloria. What is the correct sequence of the 4 stages? Now for this question, first we are going to see which is going to be the correct beginning in these options. Is it 1 or 4? Now let's check 1. Chloride ions are secreted into the gut. And 4 says toxins are produced by the pathogenic bacteria. Now, chloride ions are not going to be just secreted out of nowhere without maybe something stimulating it, such as toxins. As we know, toxins stimulate the chloride ions to be secreted from the stomach or small intestine, So over here, we're going to be choosing, first of all, we're going to be starting from 4. So we're going to be choosing between C and D actually over here. So the option C says toxins are produced by the pathogenic bacteria, and then number 1 says chloride ions are secreted into the gut. Now this is correct sequence. So both C and D say that the sequence is like that. Now the difference is 2 and 3 over here. They're saying in C that 2, osmosis causes water to move into the gut. Now, we know that when there is many chloride ions, the water potential in the gut will decrease because as we know that the osmosis water will be very low there because there is many ions there. So this is correct actually, a correct sequence. 4 toxins are produced and then they decrease the water potential by secreting chloride ions, and then osmosis will cause the water to move into the gut, and then the infected person becomes dehydrated. This is the last step in our chloria process. So over here, D is also incorrect because, of course, you can't be dehydrated first and then osmosis will cause water to move into the gut. Now, this is incorrect, of course. So C is going to be our answer. What are the products when proteins are broken down? We know that proteins break down to be amino acids. So that's going to be our answer. Now 17, the diagram shows part of a cross section of a root. What are cells 1, 2, and 3? Now we know that 1 is actually the root hair cell because it has this extension which allows it to increase the surface area. So we're going to be choosing actually between B and C. Now 2 is the root cortex cell. Now both options say that this is the root cortex cell. The difference is in 3. Now 3 is actually the xylem over here because this is actually the pathway of the movement of water from the root hair cell and then moving to the root cortex and then lastly to the xylem. So mesophyll cells aren't located over here, they're actually like later on in the process. So B is going to be our answer. Now number 18, the diagram shows an onion plant that has been grown from a seed. Each onion plant takes 2 years to flower and produce more seeds. What is the onion bulb acting as in stage 3 and stage 6? Now for this question, you're going to be seeing in stage 3 and stage 6. Now we know that over here in year 1, it's still growing and developing. So over here, year 1, the seed and the leaves over here are acting, they're asking what is the onion bulb acting as. So the onion bulb over here is still a sink because there is leaves that will produce glucose by photosynthesis and they will provide energy glucose to the onion bulb so it can grow under the ground. So we know that in stage number 3 that the onion bulb is actually a sink. So in year 2, now we know that over here that they are developing the flower. So the flower will be also a sink over here, the flower. So the onion bulb will be providing energy for the flower to grow. So it is actually a source over here. Because in year 1, the onion bulbs were actually the ones who are developing and not the leaves. And then in year 2, the flowers were the ones to develop. So the onion bulbs were providing energy by breaking down the starch and so on. So our answer will be B for this question. Now, number 19, what are the main vessels carrying blood to and from the kidney? Now, we can't be choosing between pulmonary, artery, and vein because these are the ones that provide blood to the heart to and from. So we're going to be choosing between renal, artery, and veins. Now, to the kidney is actually the renal artery, and from the kidney is actually the renal vein. So our answer for this question will actually be C. Number 20, the photomicrograph shows human blood. Which blood components makes antibodies? Now we know that lymphocytes actually produce antibodies. So we're going to be not choosing D because D is red blood cell. And we know that A is phagocyte, a phagocyte. So we can't be choosing that. It performs another process called the phagocytosis. So we're going to be choosing C. Now 21, a child is vaccinated against measles. After a period of time, the child is infected with the measles virus. The graph shows the concentration of measles antibodies in the child's bloodstream during this time. Which statement is consistent with the information in the graph? Now over here we can see that as the time increased, over here the antibody concentration in the blood was increased. Now we know that vaccination produces memory cells. That memory cells actually help to produce antibodies and help to protect your body from if you are infected with this measles virus or whatever virus in the future. So it will produce a large number of antibodies to also protect you and protect your body from this disease. So let's see the options. After the vaccination, the child produced memory cells. Now this is correct because as we can see over here, as the time increased, he probably got vaccinated in this point or something. So we still don't know when he is vaccinated, but we know that over here there was a very high increase in the antibody concentration in the blood. So we know that there is some sort of memory cells over here that did something for this child. So our answer will be A. So the next question says, which sequence of changes takes place when we breathe in? Now, when we breathe in, the diaphragm actually contracts. So that is just going to be our beginning. We know that we're going to be choosing between A and B. Now, the volume of the thorax increases and the pressure in the lungs decreases. Now, you have to please note something. When the volume increases, the pressure must decrease because the volume and pressure are actually opposite to each other. Now, you can't tell me that the volume and the pressure increases in the same time. That is incorrect. If the volume is increased, then the pressure is decreased. If the pressure is increased, the volume decreased. So they are just like opposite to each other. So our answer will be A. 23. The list shows some processes that take place in the human body. Which processes use energy released by respiration? Now we need a process that basically uses energy. Production of new red blood cells. Now, yes, so that is a process that of course requires energy. Now, 2, transmission of nerve impulse from eyes to the brain. Now, yes, the transmission of nerves is actually part of the processes that actually use energy. Diffusion of gases. Now, this is incorrect because as we know that diffusion of gases is a passive process. So our answer for this question will be A. Question number 24. Which equation is aerobic respiration? Now we know that aerobic respiration uses oxygen and glucose to release energy. So we're going to be choosing something that has glucose and oxygen in the beginning. Now that is exactly option C, which is glucose. This one is the chemical form and 6 oxygen molecules over here. So our answer is going to be C. Now, 25, which statement about urea is correct? Now, we know that urea is formed from excess amino acids, so we're going to be choosing between A and D, not B and C, because urea is not actually formed by excess glucose. Now, let's read option A and D. Urea is formed from excess amino acids in the kidney and excreted by the liver. This is actually the opposite. It is made in the liver and it is excreted by the kidneys. Now, option D is exactly what I just said now. It is made in the liver and excreted by the kidneys. So our answer will be D. 26. The diagram shows the appearance of an eye when in bright light. Now we know in bright light, the circular muscles actually contract and the radial muscles relax. So we're going to be choosing something that where the circular muscles contract and the radial muscles relax, because these two will make the iris size smaller. So radial muscles relaxed and the circular muscles contracted. That is exactly option C. 27. What is the effect of adrenaline on pulse rate and blood glucose concentration? Now we know that adrenaline will actually increase the pulse rate and the blood glucose concentration. So both of them will increase. So our answer will be D. 28. Which statements about oxygen is correct? Let's read the statements. Oxygen is made in all cells in plants. This is incorrect because it's only made in the tip of the shoot. Oxygen causes cells to elongate. Now this is correct. Oxygen moves between the cells by osmosis. Nope, it actually moves. It actually moves by diffusion, not osmosis. It is unequally distributed. Now this is correct. So our answer is going to be 2 and 4. That is exactly option D. 29. Scientists carried out a survey on the effect of giving up smoking on the risk of developing lung cancer. The results are shown in the graph. The scientists made 3 conclusions. Stopping smoking reduces the risk of developing lung cancer. Age increases the risk of lung cancer for smokers and non-smokers. The earlier people stop smoking, the lower the risk. Which conclusions are correct? Now we're going to be using the graph to help us solve this question. Now, we know that stopping smoking actually reduces the risk because, as we can see here, the people who never stopped smoking actually had a very lower chance of lung cancer compared to the people who continued smoking. As you can see, the graph is very high up compared to the one that is stopped smoking at different ages over here. So that is actually correct. Age increases the risk of lung cancer for smokers and non-smokers. Well, yes, we can see over here that for the people who never smoked, the lung cancer risk is actually increasing by age. As we can see over here, it is increasing even though they never smoked. So that is also correct. 3 says that earlier people stop smoking, the lower the risk. Now this is correct because, as you can see here, when they stopped smoking at 30 years of age, the risk was very low over here compared when they stopped smoking at 60 years of age. It was higher up. So far all of these conclusions are correct. So we're going to be choosing A. 30. A zygote has 10 chromosomes in its nucleus, which row shows the number of chromosomes in the cells of this species. Now we know that in body cells we will have 10 as well because it has 10 chromosomes in its nucleus. So we know that body cells are diploid, which means they have 2 chromosome sets. Sperm cells will actually be the half because they are haploid cells. Now embryo cells will be actually also diploid, so our answer will be C. Now 31, how will the composition of a pregnant woman's blood change as it passes through the placenta? Now the blood will actually have oxygen and it will be absorbed by the fetus for performing respiration and gaining its nutrients. And the concentration of urea will increase because the fetus or the baby will be excreting out the urea and waste products into the mother's blood. So the concentration of urea will increase and the concentration of oxygen will actually decrease because the fetus is using it. That is B. 32. What carries a copy of the gene to the cytoplasm to make a protein? Now, as we know, this is the messenger RNA. 33. Which statement about meiosis is correct? Daughter cells are genetically identical. Well, this is incorrect because this is not mitosis. Now B says the chromosome's number changes from haploid to diploid. Well, this is incorrect. It is actually haploid. So C says it is used to produce body cells. Well, this is incorrect. This is actually mitosis. So our only option is actually D, which is saying it allows the formation of new combinations of chromosomes. So that is correct. 34. Color blindness is a characteristic that is sex-linked. Which statement about color blindness is correct? Now we know that any sex-linked characteristic is actually a characteristic that is located on the sex chromosomes or the X and Y chromosomes. So that makes it like more common in a gender more than the other gender. So let's see the options. The gene for the color blindness is located on the X chromosome, and the color blindness is more common in males than in females. Now this is correct option, and I didn't read this one because it says located on the Y chromosome, and this is incorrect. So we're not going to be choosing any of the A or the options, and C is incorrect because the color blindness is going to be more common in males than in females. That's because, as we know, that males have XY and the female has XX. So a female can be a carrier, which means she can have both the color blindness and the normal vision alleles, and she will have the normal uh, she will have the normal vision even if she has the allele of the color blindness, and she can be normal, or she can be a color blind having the recessive alleles. While a male has two options, he either has the color blindness or he doesn't have it. So they have more chance of getting it than the females, because as I said, the females can be carriers and the males don't have an option to be a carrier. So B is the answer for this question. 35. The graph shows the percentage of different blood groups in a human population. Which type of variation is shown by the human blood groups? Now we know that the human blood groups are not changed by the environment at all. They are actually controlled by genes, so that means they are discontinuous. So we're going to be choosing between C and D. Discontinuous variation caused by genetic and environmental. Well, this is incorrect, so our answer will be D. 36. New strains of the crop plant wheat can be produced by crossbreeding disease-resistant plants with those that give high yields of grain. What is this an example of? Now we know that this is an example of artificial selection because they are crossbreeding or breeding specific types of grains with the grains so they can produce artificial, and also this is caused by humans and not the environment, so it is not natural selection. So B is the answer for this question. 37. The diagram shows the flow of energy. Which form of energy is transferred at points 1 and 3 in the diagram? Now we know that light energy is transferred from the sun to the grass. So we know that the grass, which is a producer, will actually convert the light energy to chemical energy by a process called photosynthesis, and also by the presence of chlorophyll. So we're going to be also seeing 3, rabbit to fox. This is actually chemical energy because the rabbit is being eaten by the fox. So when they are eating each other, or when the rabbit is being eaten, it is going to give the fox chemical energy. So that is going to be our answer, C, light energy and chemical energy. 38. The diagram shows the feeding relationships in a food web. Which organism may feed as both secondary and tertiary consumer? Now in this question I'm going to be labeling all of the animals over here. Now we know that the grass and wheat are going to be producer. This is going to be a primary consumer, and then the owl is going to be a secondary consumer if we're going to be going like that. Now a wheat, and then it goes to the mouse, and then the owl is still a secondary consumer. Now if we go from grass, which is a producer, and then this is the primary consumer, and then the blackbird, which is a secondary consumer, the fox is a tertiary consumer over here. So so far the fox is acting as a tertiary consumer. Now let's see. For example, if we go from grass, the rabbit, and then the fox is acting as a secondary, this is the primary. So the answer for this question is going to be A, because it goes from over here, it goes from the grass, mouse, and then the fox, which acts as the secondary, and then it goes from over here, as I explained, the grass, and then it goes to the grasshopper, and then the blackbird, and then it goes to the fox, which over here it will act as a tertiary consumer. Now 39, why are bacteria useful in genetic engineering? Their genetic code is different. Now this is incorrect. We know that they have universal sharing code. Now B, they have cell walls. This is not a specific feature so that they can be useful in genetic engineering, so this is incorrect. C, they have plasmids. Well, this is correct, because as we know, plasmids is used in genetic engineering of DNA, and it is joined with DNA, so it can create a recombinant plasmid, and it can be used in the fermenter to produce large strains. So plasmids. C. 40. Which hormones can cause the feminization of male fish? Now we know that feminization of male fish actually occurs when there is high estrogen levels or female hormones in the ocean. So this will decrease the sperm count in the male fish. So we're going to be choosing an option that has female hormones, which is estrogen and progesterone. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and like my videos if you have learned something new from this video or you have enjoyed this video.